I killed his ass.
Hello, welcome to episode 72 of Chet and John's reassuringly finite gaming playlist. My name's John Denton, with me as always, Chet Rovers.
Bonge Toot.
You know the deal, you fucking know the deal. 2 top 10 lists, 10 being the game we played the least, 1 being the game we played the most. You've listened to this shit before, let's do it.
Okay, right, my number 10 is a game called Feeling Lucky Punk on the Xbox 360. It is an indie game and it basically left me speechless. I love Xbox Live indie games, as anyone who listens to this podcast will know, because you find the most idiosyncratic, weirdest stuff, you know, that you'd never find anywhere else.
Yeah.
Feeling Lucky Punk makes every other Xbox Live indie game look like fucking Angry Birds, and that's not a compliment. It's in order to accurately describe it, I have to make some terrible assumptions based on it, and that's that I think the people that made it, if it is more than one person, quite young, the sole purpose was to create in-jokes to share with a circle of friends, and if he or she or these people that made this game have a poison, quote unquote, that they like ingesting in their leisure time, I'm almost certain that they smoke it. Rather than anything else. It's a really, really bog standard platform game, but stuff just pops up. Boxes featuring deliberately... At first I thought this has been translated from another language, but no, it's deliberately weird. It's completely skewed and awkward language. And you walk through doors that are filing cabinets, and then the weirdest thing is the way that it... Did you ever have an Amiga or a Commodore, an Atari ST?
I had an Amiga.
Did you ever get lent? It's one of those. That was one of the only gaming systems where if you get lent a bootlegged game, things would just be wrong. I mean, this looks like it's a bootlegged game that was already ported from another system. So shapes are all weird. The blocks have got weird colours on them. Everything in the background's kind of out of shape, and there's it just looks like it's a busted load of nonsense. I mean, it's hard to describe. I wouldn't recommend looking at it. You'd love the music, incidentally.
Hellish.
Well, imagine if someone tried to explain the concept of art to a toddler and then told them to create some on a £5 Casio keyboard. You'd absolutely love it, I'm telling you. Like I said, I'm sure the people that made it or the person that made it don't seem to be interested in it being appealing to anybody apart from the people they made it for, who I suspect are friends of theirs. It's completely and utterly bizarre and not in a good way. It's rubbish.
All right. I don't have anything to say about that game. I thought it was going to be a Dirty Harry simulator, so I'm annoyed.
No, yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right, my number 10 is a game called either Terraria or Terraria. I'm going to call it Terraria. It's a really popular game. I know
MMO, isn't it?
Maybe. I thought it seemed to be like a 2D side-scrolling action game with Minecraft elements.
Oh, right. That shows what I know.
It was a quid 74 in the Steam sale, and I'd heard about it, so I picked it up.
Oh, wait, I know. Sorry, I know what you mean. I was thinking of.
I know it's very popular and it's highly reviewed, but straight away you pick a tiny little sprite man, and it looks like a normal platform, but straight away it's exactly like Minecraft. You can pick a pickaxe and start digging down, and as you'll find out later, the thought of playing anything to do with Minecraft right now made me feel sick to my stomach, so I turned it straight off. It's no indictment on the quality of the game. It's just what I played this week, as you'll find out later. But the thought of digging any more fucking holes with a pickaxe made me want to yak. So, but it cost quid 74 because the Steam sale is top boy. It's beyond top boy. It's a joke, in fact.
Yeah, so I hear. Terraria, sorry, I know what you mean now. I was thinking of something completely different.
I think it's just come out on Xbox recently in the last few months.
I got asked to review it like a few months ago, and I sort of swerved it because I heard Minecraft and something else mentioned in the same sentence when describing it, and I was like, yeah, no, thank you. Great reviews from what I've read.
Yeah, I could tell. You could tell straight away that there's an appeal there, but I just wasn't in the mood.
All right, fair enough. My number 9 is a game called Mighty Switch Force 2 on the Nintendo 3DS.
I've seen adverts for this, but I don't know anything about it.
I didn't know much about it either, and I hadn't played the original, and I've only played it for about 10-15 minutes, but so far it's looking really, really good. I think it's out now, and it's DLC only. It's a platformer, and from what I can gather, the original you had a gun. In this one, you've got a fire extinguisher. It's a really fast-paced platformer, but the main system involves pressing the right trigger, and you make things either come back from the foreground or come forward. So there's boxes that you have to basically either walk inside, and then when you bring them to the fore, so say you see these switch boxes, one of them's in the background, you run and stand in front of it, press the right trigger, and it'll turn into a cannon and shoot you somewhere. And you either do that or you wait for these little guys that are on fire to walk into them, and then you trigger it. And bits of it reminded me of Donkey Kong Country when you're bouncing between those barrels because you're firing these little guys around to solve puzzles. It's very, very simple. It's not new or anything. I'll speak about it next week when I've finished it. But it's looking really, really nice. Really.
So that must make quite good use of the 3D, I guess.
It does. It looks really nice, and it's the really, really fast mental Japanese pop music is really, really appealing as well. It's just I was told that this would really appeal to me, and so far, it's really looking good.
How much is it?
I think it's about £4, £4 or £5.
Oh, that's all right. That's good. Some of the eShop games can be a bit pricey sometimes.
Yeah, no, I mean, but they tend to be the ones that are multi-platform, though, aren't they? I mean, the ones that are also on other formats are the ones that are expensive. Right. Incidentally, it's made by Way Forward Technologies, who are a developer who periodically make amazing stuff, and it reminded me, if you've got a Wii or a Wii U in your home and you come across Batman Brave and the Bold on the Nintendo Wii, it's also on 3DS, but I'm not 100% sure they're the same game. It's absolutely stunning. I thought we'd have seen a port by now on PSN or 360, but we never did. It came out in 2010 and it completely blew me the fuck away. It's an absolutely fantastic local co-op. Incredibly, the depth. It's a game that, a Batman game, whatever. There's so much depth to the combat and the platform.
Was it like a brawler?
Yeah, but there's so much to it. I remember playing. I liked it so much. I specifically wrote the top 5 games you missed or some shit like that because it was that good. I just had to mention that because I completely forgot that game existed because I thought I'd be playing it again on some other format. But no, if you see it on the Wii for £2, snap the bastard. No, snap the bastard up. Don't snap it.
Don't snap it. I can actually remember you talking about that game a few years ago, and I always did quite fancy playing it.
It's great.
Sort it out, not you.
Yeah.
Right, my next game is a fucking nightmare. It's Zombies Hate Plants. This was recommended by our good friend and listener and Joypod host and sometimes co-host of this programme, David Turner. If it's not the worst game I've ever played, it's definitely one of the worst games I've ever played. Oh, yeah. It's fucking awful. Did you play it?
I didn't get the time, but I will play it next week.
It's fucking awful. What it is a endless runner. I think it's an endless runner. I couldn't get more than about 3 seconds into the fucker. It all looks fairly nice. Obviously, the name's a riff on Plants vs Zombies, and I thought it was going to be tower defense, but it's not. You pick a male or female zombie. Why? I don't fucking know. And then he starts running. You tap the left side of the screen to jump and tap the right side of the screen to spit, which hits the plants which are in your way. Problems with the game, number 1, you can't see the plants because the background's full of trees and the foreground plants are trees. So you hit them. Problem number 2, the buttons don't work. Problem number 3, you can spit once, but then you can't spit again for ages, but there'll be 2 plants right next to each other. If you hit one of the plants, you die. Problem number 4, adverts appear in the game, overlaying everything to the point where an advert popped up just as I was about to come to a jump, and I couldn't activate the button to jump, so I fell down a hole. Fucking unbelievably crap. Like, if you were to hold up an example of everything that's wrong with modern games, this would be the game. It's a rip-off, it's shithouse, it has shit music, and it's completely invasive and unpleasant in every way. Fuck that game and everything it stands for.
Whoa. Fuck, I can't wait to play it.
Oh, yeah, you got to play it.
Did you... Was there pidgin English... Was it badly translated? Was there any English captions or anything?
It didn't seem badly translated, no.
Oh, okay. It's just they were talking about Joypod, this Chinese developer who makes iOS games, and they sounded hilarious. I didn't know if this was one of his.
Maybe there was. Honestly, I just couldn't get anywhere in it because it's not even hard. It just doesn't work.
Wow.
You can spit It's basically it's like a fire. It's equivalent to fire a gun, whatever. And 999% of these games, I don't know why I decided percentages are out of 1,000. Anyway, you can fire as much as you want, or within enough to kill the things that are in the way, right? To keep going. This no, you can't. So I guess you have to keep grinding it until you're buying it. I don't know.
Fuck. Oh, I'm going to turn that on before. As soon as
it's free, so you can't beat it.
Yeah, well, I'll be playing it.
Honestly, when the advert came up, just as I was about to hit the jump, I pressed the button. The fucking big pink advert came up over the whole screen. I've never seen anything like it.
You should contact the developer and see if they're going to patch it.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that.
Good. All right. Well, I'll talk about it next week, no doubt. Okay, god damn it. My number 8 isn't much better than that. It's Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 on the Xbox 360. They seem to have...
Has that been out, or is it just coming out? Or?
It was delayed from last year, and it came out in February, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And they've very recently put a demo on Xbox Live, so it's probably on PSN and PC as well. I never played the first one. Obviously, I haven't played this one. It's really... it's criminally boring. I can't remember the last... I've read the reviews and it gets slated and everything, but I think, sniping's always fun. How can you fuck up a sniper game? Sniper Elite V2 was great. It's so boring. I can only speak for the demo, but the demo, in the wake of the first Modern Warfare, you're following a guy around, which is the format of almost every shooter nowadays, and I can't believe they haven't canned that... system, because it's just not interesting. The text box that comes up right at the beginning says, make sure you do exactly as your spotter does or you'll fail. So over the course of the 20-minute demo, you're just doing exactly what he tells you to do. You wait, let's go. Hold back for a minute, and it's supposed to be all realistic, and you hear voices, stop, hold back, crouch. It's all that boring bollocks. What's criminal about this is that even during the demo, which is a small portion of the game, there were 2 incidences where you have to, in order to get past it, you have to disobey him. So the only way you can find that out is to fail it. So he says, quick, go for a melee kill. You go for a kill, and then you get gunned down because this guy's standing, and then you do it again and you don't move, and he goes, "Whew, that was close," after he's told you to do it. And it's just that's... honestly, it's fucking terrible. And it's just ropey, and... it's just there's this bit where we were crawling underneath. We were in the jungle somewhere, and there was loads of people in huts walking around, smoking and talking about the bad guys, but not in a different language. We were underneath this hut, waiting for some guy to walk closer so we could pull him down and stab him, or whatever. And there's this circular dial which indicates how visible you are, and when it's full up, you're in view, and it's to indicate how to get out of the way, basically. Yeah. I was sitting in view of someone, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and what it did was they were talking like this. Hey, what's going on? Oh my god, I can see something, and I moved a millimetre to the left, and then they went back, and then they went back to talking like that. Ropey and just... fucking terrible. There was another bit where I alerted a sniper to me, and then this team ran over to try and ambush me, and my buddy was just sitting there crouched, staring into the middle distance while I got annihilated. It's the kind of game where I just think all of those people, the army of people that come out every year to say how much they hate Call of Duty and how it's an awful piece of shit, I'm like, play this. There's no comparison. It's so fucking god-awful. I can only speak for the demo, but I was just like... this is a genuinely shitty game. There's only one good thing about it, and that's that when you squeeze the trigger, how much you squeeze it is directly proportionate to how much your gun recoils and whips back when you fire a shot. Okay. Which is, I was like, that's a nice idea. There isn't a single decent idea in the rest of it. Again, I'm only talking about the demo, but unbelievably boring.
It looks like one of the worst games ever.
It really is just... it's reasonably pretty for something that's basically a budget game, but it's so boring. Honestly. Dog shit.
Sounds shit.
Yep.
Sounds fucking shit. Right, my number 8 is a game called 4 Picks, 1 Song. Now, you probably played the other 4 Picks, 1 Thing games at some point. Yeah, doesn't need much of an explanation. It's fine. I've got no problem with this game. You do the songs. It's a shame that it doesn't play any clips of the songs or anything like that, but you fucking get the pictures, name the song, you get some credits, you can unlock the next set of songs by having enough credits, or you have to wait a certain amount of times. Fine, the game's free. I don't have a problem with that if that's how you want to do it. You can buy clues using the in-game currency, or if you need to speed it up, buying yourself out of your own money. No problem with any of that too, and it's fine. The first set of clues were just ridiculous, to be honest. It's like the song is Jar of Hearts and the pictures are 4 different jars full of hearts. So, all right, you can try a little bit harder than that maybe.
Yeah.
So I haven't got to a point where anything was particularly taxing, but it's free, and it's not like an ugly free game that's trying to take up my time and hurt me and be offensive. And I have particular problems with a lot of these free games, I have to say, because we download a lot of apps for the iPad for my little boys. It's amazing actually watching the young kids on iPads. Anyway, almost all of them are free and have giant overlays where the kid can press it, not because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing really. They press it and it will bring up the iTunes store. Like almost all of them have it, and they're targeted at sort of 18-month-old kids. Ugly business. Anyway, anything like that pisses me off. But this doesn't. This was fine. It is what it is. It's all right.
It is what it is. The one that I played, the 4 Squares 1 Movie or whatever, I think that's the one that just sketched out because I basically got every question right and there was none left, so it just basically broke. I think that's the one anyway. Okay, my number 7, I think it's probably on your list as well. It's Groove Racer on iOS.
It is on my list, yeah.
Fair enough. Where is it?
It's basically the same spot as this.
Oh, okay.
It is the same spot as this, yeah.
Okay, what did you reckon?
I thought it was all right. Like a little sort of Scalextrics type game.
Yeah.
The mechanics were solid. It's not something that I'd play for hours or anything like that. I gave it a good sort of 20 minutes, I guess, like something like that. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. It's a perfect example of a game that you pull out when you're on the train for 2 minutes or whatever, and then you play it and then you put it away. The only thing that annoyed me was that when I heard Groove Racer, I thought it was going to be a music game of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's not. The music's fucking terrible, by the way. Luckily, you can play your own music, which some apps don't let you do. It's just a Scalextrics game. It's Scalextrics game. You hold down the screen and you let go to brake. That's it. And you just have to basically brake when you're hitting corners. I thought it was a little bit too forgiving because if you spin out when you've taken a corner too quickly, it doesn't cap you that much time, so it's quite easy to get 3 stars or 3 trophies or whatever. And it's just a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes bends that are exactly the same angles as other ones, but some of them have those red lines on them, the red heat lines that you have on Scalextric, that they will make you spin out or whatever. It's basically incredibly simple, and it's solid. It's a good way to spend 2 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, that was a Twitter recommendation from from Alex, I think. So yeah, appreciate that one. Thank you.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
Always good. Yeah, it's good. I'll keep it on my phone for a bit, I think.
All right, sound. All right, well, so is that your number 7 as well?
Yeah, I don't really have anything more to add to that. It's fine. It looks nice as well.
It does look pretty good. And there doesn't appear to be any microtransactions at all.
I couldn't see anything, it just seemed to be fairly... Have it.
Yeah, I looked. I mean, there's some coming soon levels. Maybe you have to pay for them when they're ready. But it's nice. Yeah, it's an enjoyable little time waster. Okay, well, my number 6 is another demo that appears to have come months after the game was released. It's Painkiller, Hell and Damnation.
Okay.
I played it, needless to say, on the Xbox 360. I should imagine it's on PSN and PC. Also, I never played the original Painkiller. I remember this game coming out on the PC. I think it was the middle of last year. And PRs never just give you a game unless you work for a really high profile outlet. This is one of the few instances where they're like, here, Steam code Painkiller Hell and Damnation, take it please. And I was just like, well, that's a bit weird. I mean, I didn't have a PC to run it, so I couldn't play it, but it seems strange that they'd give it away so aggressively like that. I don't really understand how a developer and a publisher can think that in this day and age, this cuts it as a boxed product that goes on shelves. I mean, it would barely cut it as an 800-point Xbox Live game. I take it you never played the original Painkiller?
I did play the original Painkiller. I didn't play much of it, but that was by People Can Fly, wasn't it? Before they did Bulletstorm, and it had cool physics and cool weapons back in the day.
Was it a first-person shooter?
Yeah.
For some reason, when people were talking about this being a sequel to an original game called Painkiller, I thought Painkiller was like a decade old or something.
I think it's close to that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's pretty old.
All right, well, that makes sense because it's barely. If this came out immediately after Doom, you wouldn't notice. It's just arena. You walk into arena after arena. It's it's one of the most monotonous, and you just think who would want to play this in this day and age? I mean, all right, cut the story away and all that stuff, but it's an arena shooter where you walk around graveyards and churches, you kill skeletons, and you kill skeletons wearing armour, and they turn into orbs, and then once you've got enough orbs, you can open doors, and then you walk through the doors, and you end up in a graveyard or a church, and you kill skeletons or skeletons wearing armour, and they turn into... But it just goes in an endless circle. I played it for about 40 minutes on the demo, and it's just kind of mystified. I was like, what is this? It's like it's aimed at the last 3 militant old PC gamers who don't want to get with the times. It's completely bizarre that not only have they put it on current gen hardware, they've gone to the trouble of making a demo, which makes the game look even more unappealing. Funnily enough, it's one of the few demos where multiplayer is an option. So I jumped into a couple of multiplayer games. I say a couple of multiplayer games. I jumped into the same one twice because there was only one going and there was only 3 people in it. It's garbage. And there's a story about you're a dead guy, and what it made me realise, stories about dead guys, please, one day, can the dead guy either be gay or not be pining for a lost love that he killed and he's guilty about? I was like, are you doing this for real? Are you serious? Oh, I mean, fucking god damn it. There's no doubt in my mind that the full game is fucking hellish.
In both senses of the word, right?
Exactamond.
I remember the original was a throwback, but, one that was done with physics, which were pretty new at the time.
Yeah, this is nothing. It's like playing Doom with a slightly faster engine. You just circle strafing around enemies that walk towards you, and it is baffling. You just have to wonder. People have been rendered unemployed because of this game. There's no doubt in my mind. The fact that they've gone to all the extra money of marketing it and pushing it out on consoles as a boxed product and not a downloadable one, it's just mental. I didn't even realise it was a box product. I didn't realise it was on consoles. Well, try the demo. You'll love it.
No, I'm not going to touch that shit. All right, a bit of a strange one for my number 6. It's Guitar Hero Arcade, of all things.
Wow.
I'd never actually played this before. I was on holiday this weekend down in like a sort of holiday park thing, family thing, and they had an amusement arcade there, which wasn't actually that bad. It had there's not really any new arcade games, so it had the newer arcade games, House of the Dead 4, and this. And my little nephew wanted to play it, so I did play it. And Guitar Hero, I think it's based on Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
Fucking great, obviously. But the sound system on the arcade machine was excellent, and the guitars are really heavy, so they make you feel more like you're actually holding a real guitar than the plastic ones at home. And I haven't played Guitar Hero or Rock Band for ages, like well over a year, I don't think. So it was to be able to play it on a really fucking loud sound system. It was great fun, so I kept going back to it and just kept putting on another quid. It's wildly expensive for what it was, considering I've still got the games and guitars at home. But considering it was either that or some like Namco driving game from about 1943, it was fun. It was really good fun.
Yeah, I played that fairly recently. I can't remember where it was. But the first time I played it, it was when I had that, I was like in the top 10 for the longest win streak on the Nintendo Wii version or something. Yeah. So I had played that game so much it was actually sickening and didn't appeal to play it again in the arcade. But yeah, it's like £1 a song, isn't it?
Yeah, it's absolutely outrageous how much it costs, but nevertheless, winning a holiday park.
Yeah, true. I still, one day I will... friends will come round and I'll just have the band set up because I think it's about time.
I'd be genuinely up for that.
Yeah, I think it's about time to go back to that. I've got so much fucking DLC from Rock Band Blitz.
I just want to have a drum again. It was so fun.
Yeah, really. I quite like the keyboard as well. But anyway, I'll sort that out.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I've still got it actually. Right next to me, in fact.
Genuine. Okay, all right. My number 5 is Need for Speed Most Wanted on the 360. My girlfriend was home one evening and she was like, "Do you fancy a race?" I was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I haven't played that in ages." And we had fun because I still think that game's tremendous. But I've realised that in the same way that Need for Speed Hot Pursuit was basically broken if you wanted it to have a long... It's basically dead. It was dead online before the next Need for Speed came out. And that was because, I don't know if you remember, because I spoke about this before, but... all of the online modes were so sectioned off. So if you went to online, you couldn't do a quick match. You had to pick what cars you wanted, which maps, how many. You had to pick all of these variables, and then it would search. And we used to sit there for ages searching all these different ways, just trying to find a live game. This is different in that everything's automatic. You can't create your own lobbies. You can't really search for your own lobbies. You're either in an online game or you're not. And when we played, for the entire time we were playing it, there was only 3 of us. Me, my girlfriend, and some other guy. Towards the end, when we were like about to turn it off, it seemed to sketch out and merge 2 games together. So another 3 people joined, and it was like, oh fuck, we stayed on for a little bit longer because it's like it really is so much fun when there's between 6 and 8 of you playing online. I still absolutely love that game, but Criterion just seem to have shot themselves in the foot again with regards to online, because you can't really sort of keep a community going. If you make it so hard to sort of pick and choose what you're doing online. But Criterion's, as far as I'm concerned, they're the only Need for Speed games. But it's so weird how there's just this really, really strong culture of people who hate those 2 games. And, I bet people are still playing Need for Speed The Run online, as depressing as that is. All other Need for Speed games have this kind of following, whereas these 2 are seen as like the black sheep and everyone hates them, and it's not really Need for Speed, it's fucking Burnout. But it's depressing to play such a fantastic game, and one that's less than a year old, and it's just a wasteland of no people playing it, really. It's very, very, very weird.
It's on PS Plus in August, that game.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, ridiculous, right?
Really?
Yeah, that... Spec Ops: The Line, and what else? Something else really good as well.
Oh, wait a minute.
Like Lego Lord of the Rings or something like that. Just a really that service is just fucking brilliant. Excuse me, I have to move my chair. Awesome. And Lego Lord of the Rings just popped up for a bluey for a $5 on Steam sale as well.
Did you play that?
No, I never played it, but I think I'm probably going to buy it.
You've got to, and
£5.
Yeah, and if Lego Batman 2, that's just superb as well.
Oh yeah, I think I'll enjoy that more as well because of the subject matter.
Yeah, I hate. But hey, look, I hate Lord of the Rings as well. But that's slightly bigger, more polished, and yeah, they're both superb. So you can't go wrong.
All right, sweet. My number 5, was that 5?
Yeah.
Are we on 5? Yeah. Is another Steam sale job, Surgery Simulator 2013. I know people have been banging on about this for ages, and I played the original browser one. But I never really wanted to... I think it was like £7 or something like that, and I never really wanted to pay quite that much for it. It's essentially a joke. Just a joke, really. But it popped up, I think it was £2 on Steam sale today, so I was like, that's perfect, that's what I've been waiting for. And it's fucking funny. I mean, it really is funny. Did you know anything about it and how to play it or anything?
No, I mean, I always think of Trauma Centre, but no, I've never seen it.
It's a complete mess, basically. You control your surgeon's hand with the mouse, and then using your left hand, you use, I think it's A, W, E, R, and space at each individual finger. So you have to just move your guy's hand. You can use the left mouse button to lower it and the right mouse button to rotate your hand, and try and pick up these implements. And you're trying to do surgery on this poor guy. You end up picking up a fucking power drill and drilling through all his organs or something like that, and then knocking over everything off your desk. The whole game is just a joke. It's just it's stupid. It's a comedy where you just end up brutally murdering the guy that you're doing surgery on because you're so cat-candid. But I think with a few people in the room and a few drinks, it would be properly hilarious.
So it was free?
£2.
£2, but so you can only do the same thing over and over again, I assume.
No, there's different levels and different transplants you have to do. So the first one's a heart transplant, and you have to do a brain thing, and all these different things.
Is it actually possible to perform the operation?
It is, but you don't have to do it with any accuracy. All you have to do is rip the rib cage off, slice through the lungs, pull the heart out, chuck it on the floor, get the next one, drop it in, and then I've done it.
Okay.
It's play for laughs, and it's just funny trying to deal with such a ridiculously cat-candid control system. It's just the whole thing's just slapstick.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That sounds all right. I have heard people talking about it.
It would be funny to play with all of us in the room. It'd be properly funny.
Okay. All right. I have to remember to do that at some point.
Yeah. I think it might still be £2 on Steam. No, probably not by the time it's come out, but it'll probably pop up again before the Steam sale ends for £2 or $2.13 or something ridiculous. I paid for it. Can't go wrong.
All right, fair play. Okay. Okay. My number 4 is a game called Psychic Warrior Susan on the Xbox 360. It's an indie game. This is a really interesting one and an infuriating one at the same time. It's as soon as it started, I was like, "This is going to be rubbish." You're this woman who apparently has psychic powers, and it's just a very, very basic platformer, walking from left to right, jumping a little bit, and then they give you a sword, and then you start swiping with this sword, and it's got a really small attack radius, and it's just like, this is rubbish. And then it stops, and it allows you to use your psychic powers. Basically, you press the right bumper, and it gives you the ability to. A cursor comes up and you start moving blocks around. I was like, okay. So that you walk up to it, there's a wall blocking your way, and you start moving the blocks one by one out the way, and then you get past it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's just, for about an hour, it's really cool. You have to unblock your path. You're vulnerable when you stop to use it, so you have to make sure there's no enemies around. You use these blocks to then build bridges, reach collectibles, and sort of attack enemies that are out of reach initially, and you block off fire that turrets. It's just really cool ideas. I mean, it's not. I think if I could probably think of a game that's done something similar. But for about an hour, I was like, this is actually really cool, really inventive, a really nice system. And I was constantly, for an hour, I was like, if this stopped now, this would be a really easy to recommend. It's 80 Microsoft points. I'd be recommending it to the hills. But it's not an hour long. It's between 3 and 4 hours long. And... Right. Part of the charm of it is that it's the controls are really finicky and uneven, but that doesn't matter because it's not a platformer; it's a puzzle game, a very mild puzzle game, but a puzzle game all the same. And then it stops being a puzzle game; it becomes a platformer. And they're so finicky and so inaccurate, and things. It's a very sketchy game. It's clearly a first run attempt. There's breaks in it a lot. Sometimes you'll jump and you'll hit the ceiling and bounce off it. Sometimes you'll jump and your head will go through the ceiling, so it's impossible to gauge jumps. Right. There's also the rooms become much bigger and the save points become much further. It's brutally difficult. You can get hit by 3 enemies, or if you fall, you're dead and you're straight back to the last checkpoint. But I did some sections of it, I don't know how many times, 20 times maybe. And this is a time. I was playing it thinking, why am I wasting hours of my life playing this? I was kind of expecting it to have a sort of amazing ending or something. It doesn't. It just stops. But it's a real shame because it's like any piece of art. If you start repeating yourself, pull the cord. If you're going to keep doing the same things over and over again, it's like we talk about it in games all the time. They run out of ideas, so they just keep regurgitating. It's something. The great thing about Xbox Live Indie games is that you find games that just smash and grab, in and out, there and out. Like the horror game I spoke about a little while ago. 40 minutes long it was. It didn't need to be any longer than that. It's perfect. If this was an hour, I'd really be recommending it. But it gets so difficult and so frustrating, and all of the there's nothing new introduced. There's no new systems in play. It's just the same thing over and over again, just really, really hard, and the platforming is really irritating. It's a shame because I want to. Do you know what? On balance, I still recommend it. At least, the very least, the trial is worth looking at because it is genuinely inventive and quite clever. It's just a shame it goes on as long as it does, because if it didn't, I'd be really recommending it. So yeah, Psychic Warrior Susan. If you're interested in the trial, definitely check that out. At least it's worth a look.
Yeah, right. That does sound reasonably interesting, but it's definitely a very good point about having an editor or being able to self-edit in some cases.
It is hard though, because I was like, this. You can tell that the guy. I think it's one guy that made it. Wanted to just give you as much content as possible. It's hard to really knock that, but when the game, it's so frustrating how easy it is to die, and when you die because you jump a certain way in 2 different, it's maddening. But yeah, if it was an hour, it'd be worth it. But I still recommend it. It's because it is genuinely quite clever for the first hour.
Yeah, you should curate some sort of Xbox Live indie game thing before the service just dies on its arse in the next couple of months.
I hope they do something on the Xbox One. I know they said they're not going to, but I really hope they do.
It is a very cool thing.
It is, yeah.
All right, my number 4 is Torchlight 2, Steam sale, £1.74. Ridiculous. Yeah. That's basically no money. I've been looking to at least try and understand this genre for a while, but I never wanted to pay out 30 quid for Diablo 3. I never even really wanted to pay 15 quid for Torchlight. I tried that Marvel Heroes and it was piss. This, from the brief time that I've played it, done the first few quests and leveled up a few levels and stuff, I'm starting to see the appeal. I still sort of think that I don't know how far I'm going to get in a game which doesn't really have gameplay in the traditional sense, but it's so nicely made, this game, and so lavish, and everything about it's just really nice. Everything that I was enjoying myself the first time in this genre that I was definitely enjoying myself. So do you know anything about this series?
Torchlight? No, not really. No.
So this was, right, forgive me if I'm wrong, as far as I know from listening to other things over the years, this is made by people that I think either originally came up with Diablo or left the people that made Diablo or something like, or the guy that originally made it, something like that anyway. Made their own team, made a game called Torchlight, did really well. It's basically the same game as Diablo, but with a bunch of ideas that people who are into that genre understand a lot more than a fuckwit like me. Something to do with towns and pets or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is the sequel, obviously. I don't know the differences between this and the first one, but what I do know is it looks gorgeous. It looks somewhere between the kind of art style of Team Fortress, but done from an isometric point of view, but it also kind of looks like toys. Has a real tangible quality to it. It looks just lovely. The music's brilliant, kind of a sweeping Lord of the Rings-esque score, but without ever being cloying. It's really good. And the gameplay is that kind of move around with the mouse, click on all the bad guys, but even the combat is just really meaty and satisfying, even though you're not really doing anything. Like the guy that I have has 2 guns at the moment, and just when you shoot things, they kind of explode in a really satisfying way, and the way that all the stuff pops out of them is satisfying, and that the feedback loop which these games pride themselves on and kind of structure themselves around is working for me right now. I'm getting loot, getting new gear and all that sort of stuff, and I'm feeling like I'm getting more powerful and it's satisfying. It's just really good. I'm starting to get my head around it a little bit more compared to that Marvel Heroes game. Now I understand it's not necessarily the genre, it's just that game was fucking crap. Yeah. And this is very for £1.74. £1.74.
Yeah,
it's not even that old.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Did it come to? It did come to consoles as well.
Torchlight 1 is on Xbox, yeah.
Right.
But 2 isn't yet, I don't think.
Did you play it with other people or just on your own?
Just on my own. You can, but I thought it might be one of those situations where some level 10 billion guy will come in and just do everything for me, and I didn't want that to happen. Just wanted to see what was going on.
Well, probably loads of people. You'll be playing with loads of people who also bought it in the sale, surely.
Probably. I'll check that out as well. But it seemed fine on my own.
Okay, yeah, I'm the same as you with those. I'm a bit, I don't really understand them. But everyone says that they're best with other people. So
yeah, no, I'm sure it is. It does feel like it would be, but when do I ever get? I just never get a fucking chance to play games like that. So for £1.74 though, what a punt.
Yeah, true that. True.
Yeah, and that my predictions that Devil May Cry would be on there. But 15 quid, a little bit too expensive. But if it drops to below a tenner at any point, I'll get it. And Bastion, I said I'd hope that would be on there. And it's looking like they do this thing where the community can vote for which of 3 games is going to be super cheap within the space of 8 hours. And at the moment, Bastion is one of those 3 for £1.34, I think. £1.34. So if that wins, then I'll be able to get that for nothing as well, basically.
But the 8 hours, so you're going to have to get up in the middle of the night if it stops at
Well, no, but it'll be on for 8 hours. So I think it'll be on from 1 till 9. So I'll just get it in the morning.
All right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Deus Ex is on there for £2.
Yeah.
What else is on? Something else ridiculous. Portal 2's £2, £2.70 or something. Sleeping Dogs was a £5.
Wow.
Yeah. It's mad. Tomb Raider £7. Tomb Raider. That's fucking 3 months old, 4 months old.
Yeah. Jesus. Yeah, I need me a PC.
Yeah, the Steam sales are the shit.
Quite. Okay. Okay. My number 3 is Badland on iOS.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah, I spoke about it last week. I think it's genuinely a 10 out of 10 game.
Wow, I haven't played enough of it to sort of give it that sort of praise, but go on.
There were a lot more levels than I thought there was. I thought I was approaching the end last week. I wasn't. I had a considerable amount left. I think I'm on the final 3 levels, and it's really incredibly difficult, but never frustrating. My girlfriend's on the final level, and she said it's the most frustrating thing she's ever seen. Right. So I can't comment on that, but the amount of content that's on here, and there isn't a dud level amongst any of them. Some of them are brutally difficult, but they're so brilliantly designed. And I tweeted this the other day. I had no idea. My girlfriend came round and she showed me two things. It saves between devices, so I turned it on my phone. I was like, oh fuck, it's taken my save off my iPad, which
nice.
must be standard practice now. But I was like, wow, that's the first time I've seen it. And there's multiplayer, and the multiplayer is so good. I think I'd think the same of it if it was just the multiplayer is so funny. It's a joy.
What is it?
It's the game, but you each have one of those little hedgehogs, and you each have a space. That's what they are, isn't it?
I guess so. Yeah, I hope so.
The screen's either split into 2 or 4, and you have a dedicated part of the screen that you can press. So. You play it sort of competitively, but that game, the longer it goes on, part of the thing is that you have to multiply your hedgehogs and then split them off, and then use half of them to trigger a switch, say, and then the other half can fly through. It's so funny when all of your guys get in one point and all of my girlfriend's got stuck in the other. It's just there's opportunities to stitch each other up. It's just joy, and it's raucous, and it's funny, and it's just it works as well on multiplayer as it does on single player. I was like, this game is amazing. How did I not hear about it?
I hadn't either.
Maybe I don't, like I said last week, I don't play a whole lot of iOS games, so I suppose maybe if there's other games of this quality, this probably wouldn't stand out. But to me, it's just a bit of a masterpiece, really. It's amazing.
I thought it was excellent as well. I probably played about probably about the amount that you played last week, and I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I saw when you said it was a 10 out of 10 game on Twitter. I was like, wow, I hadn't even thought about anything like that. I was just enjoying it for what it was. But yeah, like you say, it has a kind of almost Nintendo-esque quality to it in terms of the ideas and the puzzles, and the way it then flips those puzzles on their head. And then you'll just get a level where for no reason you've just got 5 giant hedgehogs barreling through it, and it's a piece of piss, but it's just funny to look at. And it's very, very good indeed. I wonder if it's still free.
It was when I checked on Saturday after the podcast went out, so hopefully people had to look and downloaded it, because it really is just, I think it's remarkable.
So perfect, the control scheme as well, everything about it, so well suited.
So accessible, anybody could play that game.
Yeah.
And yet it's so inventive that it's just, oh man, I love it. I absolutely adore it. I really do. So if it is still free and you haven't snapped it up yet, Badland. I mean, I don't know how much I haven't played it on a phone, so maybe it's slightly lesser of an experience like that.
I'm on the phone, it's fine.
Oh, okay. I mean, playing it in high def on the iPad is gorgeous to look at, and it's just, and the multiplayer, we were laughing our fucking asses off stitching each other up and trying to, I mean, it's just, I genuinely would, if I had to review it for someone, I'd say I have to give it a 10. It's incredible. I absolutely adore it.
Do you even know who made it?
I do. No, I've just completely slipped my mind. I meant to look them up and find out what else they'd done, because if that can't be their first game. Flying fish? No, that's not right at all. I don't know. Me neither.
Flying fish.
That's probably not right at all. I'm going to look into that, because that's mad. If that's a team's first game, they've got nowhere to go but fucking plummeting downwards. So that was your number 3 as well?
Yes.
Okay, my number 2 is Resident Evil 6.
Oh yeah.
Me and Zeno are doing it on co-op, and I still like it. As I said the other week, the sheen started to come off a little bit towards the end, because basically we've done the entirety of the Leon's campaign. And it does, towards the end, there's this boss that you have to fight about 4 times, and it doesn't tell you that this is how it works, but you have to trigger something that makes him fuck off, and then you carry on the game. But because it doesn't tell you that, you just end up fucking shooting him and doing all your ammo, and then running around with no ammo. Like, what do we do? Oh, I have to open this door, and then he'll fuck off. You know, there's idiotic bits like that, and all of the bosses are just bullet sponges. There's no, for a Capcom game especially, you know, the company that's like known for their mastery of boss encounters, they're all just shoot the cunt for a while and then he'll piss off. That's it. You know, that is this game's idea of a boss battle. But it's really entertaining. It's all climax. I mean, a lot of games you can say this about, but it's just there's so much action constantly. There's just fire everywhere. There's so many near-death, slow-motion scrapes. It's like the end of a movie elongated for 6 hours, and it's knackering if you play it for very long. To be honest, that's a complaint you could level at fuckloads of games, but this... It's so. I mean, it is exhausting. When you put it down, you're like, I can't hack any more of it because it's just so full on. But brilliant and entertaining for all of the reasons I said last week. It made me think constantly of that Graham Linehan quote that everyone always quotes. What he said on the Games Wipe. I mean, it's really astute and right on. I mean, I agreed with him when he said that he thought that most video game writers have they don't read. They all of their references are from other movies and games and stuff, and you could level that at this completely. The way that it's basically hell on earth, and then 5 seconds later, the sun's out and they're standing on grass that's probably meant to be a cemetery or something. It's just this picturesque sequence for like 30 seconds at the end of the game to say that everything's okay. It's like. That bears no relation to reality. I mean, you're not looking for reality in Resident Evil, but I just thought that's the end to almost every single Steven Seagal movie. It's all gone to hell, and then everyone's standing on grass like, hey, soft music, and the credits roll. And I kept thinking, this without movies, this wouldn't exist. It's a shame that Resident Evil fans have been shat on because this is not a Resident Evil game. It's so not a Resident Evil game. But yeah, it's really dynamic, really, really fun if you switch your brain off, which is what me and Zeno did. And we're going to do the other campaigns and probably enjoy those too. So I think it's, again, like I said the other week, it has got a future ahead of it as a cult game, I think.
Just even the thought of going back to it, when you talk about the constant near deaths and all that sort of stuff, I just think it's a shame because it just wore me down and kind of kneed me in the face right at the end, and then I was done.
Yeah, I mean, it is like being screamed. I mean, it's so full on. But if you want that, and we did, we were up for it. But I liked it anyway.
Yeah, I still think it could be an amazing game if they just turn it into one 8-hour game. Like got all the best bits from every campaign stuck it all together.
I don't know. I don't think there's a lot of. I mean, with regards to bad bits, there are sort of, like I said, the shitty boss encounters are really, really drab. But I don't think there's bits wrong. This is boring. This is dull. What we're doing, because it is so full on. And I do like. I mean, it will be done by another game, and it will get more praise for it. But it is neat the way they tell that story, interlinking with all three plots, and you run into each other throughout the way. It's a really cool way to do it. But yeah, I like this game. I must sound like an apologist, but we are really enjoying it. And yeah, if you're thinking about it, I advise you to go and have a look.
Well, yeah, it can't be expensive. I said that before. It can't be expensive anymore.
No, exactly.
All right, talking of inexpensive, my number 2 is a game called Dyad, a game I've had my eye on for ages. When I first saw it announced on PSN. But then it only came out in America, and then never. I think it then eventually did come out in EU, but I forgot about it. But Steam sale. I noticed by our boy Marty Holden that he was playing it, so I asked him how much it was. £3. Can't beat it. Anyway. This is a game. You heard of this game?
No, I think I read his description. I was like, "What the fuck's that?" Is it like?
It is. Yeah, you're going down a tunnel. You're fucking either a spaceship or I don't know what you are. Some sort of blob. I don't care. And it is. He described it perfectly as a combination of Res and Tempest. It is. Is that, and it's also got some frequency to it as well, but without being a rhythm action game. Let me try and describe it. It's hard to describe games like this. Basically, you're going through this fucking hectic tube. And it changes on level to level, but the basic concept is there are, say, yellow-coloured spheres and blue-coloured spheres on this thing. They're enemies. You shoot one, and it will hook your little ship and kind of pull it towards it, and you can rotate around the tube a la frequency. And you want to be pairing up your enemies, so you want to pair that by killing another yellow one, and then you'll get a pair, and that's your score counting up. Everything that you do kind of matches to the music Red style, so it starts off kind of slow and almost ambient, and as the level goes, it gets more and more pumping. The music itself isn't, on the levels that I've played, which is a fair few, isn't like of a Red standard. It's fine. Some of it's kind of low-key drum and bass, some of it's kind of progressive house, none of it's particularly memorable or outstanding, and nothing builds and builds and builds like Res does. But it's still really neat, very hypnotic. I couldn't play it for long stretches of time because it started to make me feel like my brain was scrambling, especially in this heat. But it's definitely really good and definitely up your street.
Yeah, it does sound superb. I take it it's just a PC exclusive.
No, PSN.
Oh, really?
Yeah, didn't you listen to anything that I just said?
Well, no, you just said it was on PC and you got it in the Steam sale.
Yeah, but before that I said it came out on PSN in America, didn't I?
PSN. Right, sorry, I thought you said PC, my mistake. Oh, fuck, it's on PSN. Shit.
Yeah.
So I need that, I need Hotline Miami, and there was another one. What the fuck was the other one? I can't remember. Fuck, that sounds really, really good.
I reckon you'll really like it. And I reckon you could take it longer than I can, if that makes any sense, if that doesn't sound too weird. Yeah.
Well, is it really intense?
It's very, very intense, and it starts to get really, like, hypnotic with colours and swirly shit and things. And, yeah, after about 40 minutes, I had to tap out and then play it again later because I was starting to get a bit of a brain scramble. But you know how Guitar Hero makes you feel if you play it too long and you look at a wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that, but way, way worse. But it's no slave of God.
Okay. All right. Wow. Fuck. Okay. Sorry. I completely missed. I thought you said PC, not PSN.
Yeah. I'd also play it on a pad on PC.
Shit. Okay. Right. Fuck. What was the third one? You don't remember? There was Hotline Miami and something you spoke about last week, and this. I'm just going to turn my PlayStation on after this and just buy some stuff because I need.
That's something that I talked about. This on
it
PSN.
Was. Yeah,
Velocity.
Was it Velocity?
Is it Velocity
the game
Ultra,
that had the ridiculously long trial.
Yeah. Velocity.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get that shit in. Update it for 7 years and then get all that other shit in.
Will do. Okay, all right. My number one is a game called Thunderwolves on the Xbox 360.
The same shit you talked about?
I spoke about it last week. I played the trial.
The chopper game.
The chopper game, yeah. We stopped talking about it with you saying, who's got time to play Thunderwolves? I do, boy. Oh, yeah. I'm telling you. It is. I absolutely loved it. It's I explained what it is last week. It's basically, I mean, it's very, very, very much a throwback. It's an isometric. No, it's not an isometric at all. It's reminiscent of Desert and Jungle Strike, but also reminiscent of Choplifter in how simplistic it is. And it feels. I mean, the games that it reminded me of were almost all on the Super Nintendo because it's so simple. You're just a chopper. There's a terrible story. It's the guns. Your guns don't overheat. You've got flares to distract from heat guided missiles that barely. They basically don't overheat either. You can use them constantly. The rockets replenish really quickly. It just wants you to cause absolute havoc. It's like those sequences that you happen across periodically in most action games, especially Call of Duty. They'll do a bit where you just gun a load of people down. It's like that non-stop, and it's really the controls are tight and it's fast enough that it could legitimately become a score attack favourite with people who are competitive because it's really. I absolutely loved it, but I can't. It's difficult to put my finger on exactly what it is, but it does truly feel like a game from a different era. It's completely unconcerned with. There's no. It's like a Super Nintendo game. Those games, people who were making those games had no sort of quibbles about who they were making it for. They were making it for 8-year-old boys, and that was that. There's no fucking. We need to make this, or it needs to appeal to this lot, or it needs to. It's unashamedly juvenile and stupid and loud, and there's just constant. Very, very outdated, kind of sort of late 80s, early 90s sort of Metallica rip-off rock going throughout
Always up for that. All
of the characters just don't stop shouting. There's dumbass dialogue, like I quoted a bit last week. It's just terrible wisecracks. There's a I didn't try it, but I will try it. There's a local co-op where one of you is a gunner and one of you fires the rockets and stuff. When you get multipliers, the text that comes up says "nice one, bro," or like "get some," or like "you rock," or "hella sick," whatever the fuck that means. It just comes. If it was a person, it would be 35 years old, still living at home, mollycoddled by his parents. He'd dress like Fred Durst, and he wouldn't be able to speak unless every sentence, before he could speak, he'd have to go, "Yeah, woo." He'd be basically a flaming shithead. But if you compress that flaming shithead into a game, I will happily push his buttons because I'm telling you. This is I had an absolute blast, and I did genuinely sort of have waves of nostalgia because it felt like games that I know I played on the Super Nintendo. Not necessarily chopper games, but just it's so it really harks back to a different era, unashamedly stupid and sort of amped up and just rubbish.
I like unashamedly stupid things.
You should try the try. Everyone should try the try. Especially if you're of a certain age and you played stuff like this on the Super Nintendo. The cutscenes are hilarious. They're the cutscenes are all of the characters are basically those little army men, the little guys from Toy Story, the little green people. That's how good the animation is. Not Toy Story. I mean, it's as if someone sort of motion captured one of those.
Sure.
It's the performance-wise, it's a little bit iffy in places. There's a boost button that you can use. There's not really any cause to use it a lot of the time, but there's a boost button, and when you do that, and during some of these laughable cutscenes, the frame rate really chugs and sputters, and it sort of looks, it looks like it's going to crash sometimes. But during gameplay, it's actually fairly solid on the Xbox 360 anyway. Yeah, it's fun. It's slightly it's a little bit too in love with Call of Duty, because some of the bits, like it'll periodically there'll be an AC-130 mission, and then there's even this bit where you're a sniper in a chopper sniping people, and you only have to fire, you only have to shoot in the general area of where the people are, and you get a fucking headshot. It's so dumb, and I loved every second. But the thing is, all of that stuff, whatever, the controls are really tight, and you do genuinely feel like you're mastering something. One other problem is that it's very narrow. There's not any exploration at all. Go here, kill a load of shit. Go here, kill a load of shit. Occasionally, choplifter style, you'll land down and pick people up, and it even looks like choplifter. They sort of boop, boop, the way they jump onto the chopper, which was nice, because the choplifter remake is nothing on this. This is far superior to it. There's not a lot of exploration. You're in very, very confined areas, but periodically, quite frequently, a message will come up saying "Return to battle, return to battle," when you can't really leave the battle. So that seems like a glitch, but I think they're getting ready to patch it. So there you go. I had an absolute blast with it. It's 12 or 13 missions long, and it's really. I think you have to be of a certain age though, because things about it are just unacceptable these days. Yeah. Just the general shoddiness of some of the production, and just how, it's. And one other thing is that the main character is really fond of shouting, "I killed his ass," which is what I tend to.
It is you. I thought it sounded like you when you were describing him.
Exactly. That's what I shout when I'm playing Battlefield. So I was just like, "This is for me." Thunderwolves, man, I'm telling you, it's worth a fucking look. The trials on all PC, PSN, and Xbox, just have a look. It's just really, really good dog shit.
The flaming shithead, indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, talking about games of a certain age, games of a younger age than you and I, obsessed with Minecraft, which is my number one. Now, the reason it's my number one is because I'm writing a thing about it for a magazine, and I had to screenshot a fuckload of Minecraft. So I had to buy Minecraft and then screenshot a fuckload of Minecraft. In the time of doing this, I turned into a bit of an expert at mining in Minecraft, so I was writing about the actual mining part. And it made me appreciate just what an amazing game it is. I don't really want to play it, but it's fucking amazing. It's an amazing piece of software, and I can see how so many people are obsessed with it. The detail and the possibility in it, unbelievable. So one of the things I had to do was mine diamonds, which are the rarest thing in the game, right? So I started doing it in the most haphazard way possible, just generating a world, looking for a hole, going down in that hole, just seeing what happened. The fucking stuff you see in this game underground, it's huge, sprawling caverns that are bigger than any of the overworld. And then you dig down and down and down and down and down, and then there'll be like an ancient temple under there that sprawls for miles. And there's all these weird creatures down there and all this stuff. And it's amazing. It's fucking amazing. Eventually, I had to consult things and how to actually specifically find diamonds, and I had to construct this branch mine thing. The fucking level of detail is insane. And I eventually found the right diamond, and I felt like an absolute hero. And I guess if your aim for Minecraft was playing it as it's meant to be played in a survival mode, I was just playing it on a creative mode where you had all the resources and you couldn't die and all this sort of stuff. The thought of finding diamond when you're playing like that would be amazing. Eventually, because I'm old and crotchety and I don't understand the world of young people anymore, I couldn't. It's so aimless that I couldn't really get on board with it for too long. I like goal oriented games, but younger people have better imaginations, they have more time, and that's why they're completely obsessed with what is, groundbreaking. I can't believe Minecraft was groundbreaking. Fuck me. Anyway, Minecraft's amazing. I just don't really want to play it ever again after taking 10 billion screenshots of it. But yeah, and that's also why, obviously, I didn't want to play Terraria. 2 days later. But it's amazing. It's a 10 out of 10, but not for me.
It is groundbreaking though, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's literally you're breaking ground.
I know. But I mean, it's
you know what I'm saying. But no, it is. It's the future of. It's just also it looks really nice when you pull it out. I had a mode where you could fly, so I could look for holes basically. And when you pull it all the way out, it actually is a really nice looking game. Obviously, everything's made out of blocks close up, but it's very stylish. And even the world generation creates some amazing sights on the surface. And on PC, I played it on Xbox. On PC, the world seems to be much, much, much bigger.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I was actually I think in total to get all these screenshots, it took me 10 hours, and for probably 6 of those, I was actually quite captivated because I was doing the mode where you had all of the resources, and I started to see the full limits of what was possible, and you can build these huge, intricate circuitry systems, and it's not like Little Big Planet where it's fucking impossible. It's really easy. You just place the blocks on the ground to make wires and then stick a machine at the end of it, and fucking hell, there you go. You've got a machine where you stick some rails down, wire it up, and you've got a working minecart system. It's not hard at all. I could fucking do it, so it's not hard. It's a mad game, not like anything else. Well, it's like a lot else that has ripped it off, but I don't know how the fuck they came up with that idea.
It's still a complete mystery to me, so I need to sit down. It's a gap in my understanding of what games are, because I still have no concept of what it is. I've seen it, I've seen it running, I know what people do in it, and I understand the concept.
I think if you're not 8, it's very difficult to find the time or the inclination to play it. But if you are 8, just the fact it's a simulation as well, and just crazy stuff keeps happening. It's just constantly firing off their imaginations constantly, and it's all I'd think about, I think, if I was that age.
But I mean, the internet's awash with videos being made by people who are like older than us playing it, so I need to
There's that as well, but I know it's massive with young kids.
Yeah. Right, well, one day I'll understand what the fuck that game's all about.
It's just mainly about discovery. I say that's the main point, whether that be discovering what you can make or discovering what you can find. I'd say that's the key of Minecraft.
Right, okay. Genuine. All right, well, I take it you won't be talking about it next week then?
No, I will never be playing that game again unless I have to.
Okay, up there with Crysis 3. Genuine.
Oh, no, it's not that bad. Okay. It's not that bad.
Right, genuine. Okay, well, thank you very much for listening. We'll hopefully speak to you again next week. I've done it out of order. At John Denton, at Chet Royals, at Chet and John's Twitter, at facebook.com or something, the site. Incidentally, if you're interested in Pikmin 3, after we finish recording this, we're going to record John's review of that, and then we're going to seamlessly slot it into next week's programme without anyone noticing. But we're doing that because on Monday, at what time do you know?
No, I don't know.
Monday, at some point on Monday, we're going to put a video review up on our YouTube channel. So if you're interested in Pikmin, you'll be able to watch that and get a sneak peek of next week's episode if that floats your boat. Thank you very much for listening. Hopefully speak to you next week.
Yeah, always tweet us. Tweet us for game suggestions. We love it.
Yeah, we love it. Genuine Chat.
Yeah, Genuine Chat. Peace out. Peace.
Minutes ago, pirates attacked a coastal village near your position. Suspend training ASAP and repel this assault. You are free to engage all hostiles. To be clear, this is not a training exercise.
Unless we train these pirates to behave themselves.